Are we ready? Oh, thank you.
You want sugar, cream?
Sure.
Sure.
A little. All right. Thank you very much. Real sugar. That's it. That's fine. Thanks. Now you're gonna have to do it for everyone.
Well, does anybody else want coffee?
I'll take a half a cup.
Okay, we're going to today we're talking about offline lead generation. I think that's what it said on the schedule, didn't it? And I called it that because I had a feeling that if I told you what it was, you wouldn't come. Candy's, it's going to be like an EST training. She's going to lock the doors. Not allowed to go to the bathroom, right? Until you get it, right? All right. Lock the doors. So, offline lead generation. We at 1 o'clock today, I'm going to be doing a seminar, webinar, class that's also being broadcast on the internet on Facebook. And there's two kinds of, generally speaking, there's two ways in which you can market yourself as a real estate agent. There's online and offline. And we're going to talk about the thing about Facebook, some new statistics that have come out recently, like just in the last month or so. They did a survey of Google searches, and for example, the search San Jose real estate. How many times do people put that in Google and hit enter? And the result is that in the last few years, it's fallen by 95%. So the number of people searching online for San Jose real estate has dropped precipitously. At the same time, Facebook has grown monumentally and now accounts for more direction of internet traffic to websites than Google does. You understand? 26% of all internet use in December of 2010 was Facebook. 26%. It's overtaken pornography, right? As the number one use of the internet. So if you don't have a Facebook account and you don't have a Facebook business page, you're really missing it, right? That's just in my humble opinion, right? And so that's this afternoon. What we're going to talk about today are the different things that you could do to find clients that do not involve the internet, right? That does not sound like, hence it's called offline, and we're talking about lead generation. This is, why did it do that to me? Why did it? I'm not going to go through all of these, but I want to show you some basic things to think about and some places resources where you can get more information on how to do different things. If you would like to make a lot of, you understand real estate sales is not something that just happens. It depends upon what you do. And so it might, if you have time and you have desire and a willingness, then it's possible to do everything. Right? If somebody said to me, well, I'm just getting started or I want to make a lot more money in real estate, what should I do? You might do everything, right? Talk to expired listings, talk to for sale by owners, knock on doors in the neighborhood, make a newsletter, send out postcards, do home buying seminars, talk to loan agents, join community organizations, post ads on Craigslist, everything, right, is what that would be the answer. And what sometimes people find is things that they didn't think that they would like to do, that they didn't think that they were going to be good at, that once they started doing it, they found that they were good at it and they were getting business from it, right? You don't know, right? I know I wouldn't be good at working for sale by owners. You might try it first and see. You understand most for sale by owners are doing that to interview agents. You understand a lot of them they don't know what to do, so they go for a sell by owner first. They wait, and agents come by and talk to them, and finally they find one they like, and they settle on them. You understand? You shouldn't take there's an old joke about how do you keep real estate agents from hanging around the office. you put a for sale by owner sign in front. All right. If you do that, they won't stop. All right. As soon as they're driving up and they see it in front of the office, like, oh my God, and they they speed down to escape. Right. So everything, right, is really what you ought to do. And I want to talk about some specific things. One of the things that you have to think about is, because the old line always was, we're going to talk about where to go, what to do, and what to say. All right. That's what this is about: where to go, what to do, and what to say. What to say, one of the things that you need to think about is, what is it that you're going to say to people? Now, a tip is, what is the most common question that people are going to ask a real estate agent? If they know you're a real estate agent, what's the most likely question that they're going to ask you? How's the market? You ought to have an answer for this at all times. Have you ever heard of the elevator speech? If you were in an elevator with somebody and you had 1 minute, 2 minutes to say something to them, what would you say? You ought to plan one on this, right? You ought to plan one. There was news today in the Mercury. There was news last week. There's always something, right? And so you need to be in a position where you know what's going on. You need to tell people why they ought to work with you. This is sometimes called a unique selling proposition, a tagline. It's not a slogan, right? That's not, everything I touch turns to sold, right? There's a picture of the agent with his slogan. I saw this one. The guy was holding 2 trophies, jumping in the air in front of a sold sign on a house, right? That was his. I know some people say, well, that's a good idea, right? So that's not what I'm talking about, but what kinds of services. And I'm going to be spending, I shouldn't tell you this, I have to think of clever ways to title the classes so people come. But we're going to talk about, in the next few weeks, hopefully, more about words to say and presentations to make for buyers and for sellers. But you need to have one. You need to give people a reason to meet with you, right? Why would a buyer want to meet with you? Why would a buyer want to meet with you? Because you understand financing or can help them with financing, right? That's one reason. Because you have properties to show them. You know the market, what's hot and what's not, and where to go to get a good house that looks like you know the market. Or you offer them a package of services that's going to save them time and money when they buy a home. Those are the 3 things, right? I've just already told you. Right? And so, but you need to have those words ready. Right, you understand? You need to have those words ready. Office association designations, things like that. That means if you're a GRI, a graduate of the Realtors Institute, if you could list those things. Most people don't. There's an old joke in real estate, about the guy who's got a GRI, but no MONEY, right? Because he's got all the little designations. But winning awards and things like that is not what we're talking about. Right? You understand? Well, you ought to work with me because I sold more homes last year than any other person in my, 2-person office. That's not what we're talking about. This is a little bit dated, but the current statistics aren't much different. And I was too lazy this morning to change but past customers and clients. Some of our experienced agents have come dragging in, right, into January. Beginning of February. You understand this is the end of the traditional Halloween to New Year's vacation that is typically taken in real estate, right? And so they're dragging in now and complaining, oh, you don't have any clients, I don't have I got nothing going on. Have you talked to your past customers and clients? Have you called all of your past customers and clients, said, hey, Happy New Year, how's it going?
Some of those old clients, we're biting nails at the end.
Yes.
Me in particular.
Yeah.
And they're not all real happy.
Well, that's
that last day.
That's true. They may not be. By the way, the best time to get a client to refer somebody to you is while you're in contract, not afterwards. Especially closer to the beginning, when they're still happy with you, right? When they still like you, but they might be. The only way to know how they're feeling is to call them, and sometimes letting them vent and talk about you. They really wish that and. You could say, yeah, if I used to say I had a crystal ball, but it broke and I can't get the part. And so, I guess I didn't know, who knew, right? But you ought to start with the past customers and clients, right? You need to talk to them. And do you have them set up in some sort of an email follow-up system? Do you send them newsletters? Do you keep in contact with them? You understand that we're going to look at this is probably the strongest base for getting leads. And I've heard it forever in real estate where there's oftentimes a reluctance among agents to go back and call their past customers and clients, right? For whatever reason. I'm not going to give you some of the that come to my mind.
For escrow, all the tension and stress, I think it's just that period in time where they're losing it and they get mad
Right.
at you.
Right. Of course, they get mad.
Causing all the stress.
They get mad at everybody.
Yeah.
Right. They get mad at everybody. But the point is what do you do now?
Yeah.
Right. You understand? Let it go. If they don't like you, they're not going to refer. See, a lot of this has to do with fear. In my opinion, right? Because if I think they're gonna curse at me and tell me that you should have known that I was gonna lose my job, and how didn't so we don't like the house now, and the neighbors have dogs, and you understand. So what's the worst that can happen is they're not going to refer anybody to me, right? Which is where we are now, right? They might feel better. They might feel better that they had a chance to talk to me. And they might be happy, right? They might be happy, right? It's happened before, right? So what they found when they surveyed, and this was done a couple of years ago, but I've seen the ones, they're almost identical. The recent ones, this is from the National Association of Realtors, they said, would you use your agent again? Buyers, 62% said yes. Sellers, 68% said yes. Did you use your agent again? 23% of the buyers said yes. 11% of the sellers said yes. What happened to all the rest of them? The agent didn't contact them. Right? Didn't do anything. Yeah. The last time they saw their agent is in the parking lot at the escrow at the title company when they were waving at them as they drove out of the parking lot. That was the last they ever heard, right? So the first thing you had to do is get a list of everybody that you ever worked with before and talk to them. People that you showed a property to that decided not to buy. Talk to them. People, sellers that you talked to who decided not to sell. Talk to them. Right. This is in marketing or sales, you have warm leads and you have cold leads, and warm leads are better than cold leads. These are warm leads. Some of them are scorching hot, but they're warm leads, and that no matter what our personal reluctance is, that we're much more likely to get business talking to them than we are talking to people on the street. Right. We're much more likely to get business. You already have niche marketing. I'm going to be jumping around a little bit, and I'm going to show you some online resources. Even though this is offline marketing, I'm going to show you online resources for offline marketing. But once you've gone, okay, past customers and clients, that's the people, and we're going to talk a little bit about sphere of influence too. Sorry, and those are the people people that you don't know. You could try to market yourself to everybody for everything. The ad that says, I sell mobile homes to luxury homes, right? And there's a picture of a $20,000 mobile home next to a big house in Silver Creek, right? I'll do anything, anywhere, right? I don't care where the house is. Now, who's going to call an agent like that? You understand? If your doctor said, oh, well, I think you need brain surgery, I do that Tuesdays. Wednesday, I deliver babies. Thursday, I'm a dermatologist. A dentist, right? You understand? No one's going to go to that doctor. Most lawyers, most doctors, most professionals specialize. Right? That doesn't mean the doctor couldn't deliver a baby. It just means that that's not their specialty, right? Do you have a specialty, right? And if your specialty is anybody, anywhere, anytime, any house, it's very hard to market to that, right? You understand? Because now you're having to market, you're competing with Pepsi and McDonald's for people's attention. You understand? Because that's how you market to everybody. TV ads, full page ads, and that's very difficult to do. So a niche, or niche, depending on where, I don't know, where you're from, is designating a specific target group. I don't know why it's doing this. I have to turn off my animation. So I'm going to do it this way. I didn't have times. I converted old. This is what happens when you take an old PowerPoint file and you make it a new PowerPoint file and you don't look at it before you put it on the screen. All right. And personality fit. There is an agent in the area that is extremely successful. Either is with or used to be with Century 21, and her whole deal was she was an active member of a church, and she was a really active member of a church, really, really active, and sponsored things and did things and did huge amounts of business just because they were so involved. You understand is that if there's something you like to do, doing it might be a way to meet people that want to buy or sell a house. Right? You know, bowling leagues, quilting groups. Everybody, one of the nice things about real estate is everybody's going to want to buy or sell it. If not now, sometime in the future. So you need to, and so you might find a group that fits your personality, that you want to look at competition, and it needs to be big enough that you can actually make some money off of it. You know, like, I'm not going to use that example. Try to define where you would find them. These are just some examples. Now, you understand, what I'm recommending is that you do everything, right? That you spend time, 15 to 30 minutes a day, at least, on working with Facebook and some other online things, right? There will be time, as you're going to see, left over to do stuff like this. But geographic areas, people, sellers, we have to... Yeah, buyers and sellers. Sellers are much more likely to go with past relations with an agent. They're much more likely to go with somebody they perceive as knowing that area. Much more likely. They respond better to things they get in the mail than buyers do. Right? You understand? They do. So consistently, persistently marketing yourself to a specific geographic area still produces leads. Right, still produces listings. We have agents, especially at Silver Creek, and that are still very successful that have been doing this for a long time. Demographic groups. Hispanics is an example. It doesn't have to be a particular language or ethnic group, but it could be age. There's single women are actually one of the largest growing segments for home buying. For sale by owners, expired, singles, baby boomers, seniors, luxury homes. These are just some examples. You ought to find one, is what I'm saying. And this is a little information from the 2010 National Association of Realtors survey of buyers that didn't go through because I converted. Remember my excuse, I converted the file. So the first-time buyers, 30 years old. This was the average first-time buyer. They were 30 years old. $59,000 was their income. 48% were married. 23% single. Anyhow, 15% were single males. 23% single females. 12% were unmarried couples. Repeat buyers are a different group. If you want to have value, you need to know more than the prospect does. It may be difficult. Let's talk about financing. It might be difficult for you to understand everything about all kinds of financing because there's so many kinds of financing. It might be good to start with a first-time home buyer. Just start with that. What are their options? Will their options be different than somebody who's moving up, right? Who's selling and buying? They're totally different options, right? And if there's too many first-time home buyers, find a loan. All right. Now, we don't actually do loans. That's why Linda's here. But you need to know loans in order to be able to sell real estate. Right. You need to be able to explain things. How long are people expected to be in the homes? Because if we're in it for the long haul, we want repeat and referral business. First-time buyers overall, people say now they're going to be there 10 years. It used to be 5. At one point, it was 3. When the market was just going nuts, it was going up 1 or 2% a month. people were bailing out every 3 years, right? But and making money. Now people are looking at every 10 years. But notice how that change depends upon the different group. In other words, if you're selling to seniors and you're waiting for them to be a repeat, it may not, I'm going to skip that joke. I can't make old jokes anymore. I don't. That's what's funny. What's funny about that? They're laughing at me. I don't want to do that one. First time home buyers. Let me get rid of this. Did I miss this? Get rid of that one. I don't know why I'm recording this one. I have people. First time home buyers, 2010, National Association of Realtors, 50% of the market. Right. It's probably different in San Jose, but it gives you something to go on. It's at least, what are we doing? Women home buyers, fastest growing segment, that's a little bit old, baby boomers, Generation X. There's a lot of stuff on this. Generation Y, I think Ed posted something about they're starting to redesign buildings because to match what the Generation Y people want. I can remember back in the 90s, somebody was saying he had a house and he was talking about what upgrades could he do to make it worth more in the future, and he asked me if he should put category 5 wires, that's Ethernet cables, in all the rooms so you could connect to the internet. And wireless was still starting, and I told him that would be like putting in a coal bin in a house in the 1950s, right? It's going to, will that increase the value? No, right? Because people aren't going to be, they're not using category 5 wires, right, in houses. So, and I know real estate agents who've said to me, no, I don't have a Facebook account. I'm resisting it. I'm not going to do it. You should be happy when you hear people say that, right? Because where are these people, right? That seniors. There are designations you can get. You can get them through Century 21 cheaper than you get them from the board, the Senior Real Estate Specialist designation. If you do it through the board, it costs several $100s, and you have to spend like 2 days sitting down at the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors on a hard chair, right, with stale donuts. They don't even give you stale donuts, I don't think, anymore, right, and but with Century 21, you can take the same class online, whenever you want to. Right, it's a self-paced study class, costs half as much, and you get the same designation. But are there different issues for that market? Do you understand what I'm saying? Try rather than you can't learn everything about every kind of market. Pick some that fit you. More on seniors, foreign-born buyers. Different loans if you're not a citizen of the United States, not a resident of the state of California. Can you still buy a house? You can still buy real estate. The loans are different. Things are different. These are just, is it a good time to buy a house? Now, there's the article today in the Mercury about predicting a double dip in Silicon Valley. However, there was an article in Forbes just a week ago or so that said that San Jose was going to be strongest in 2011, right? Nobody knows, really, right? Right. Nobody knows. It's on our Facebook page, by the way, that article, and which I'd like you to join. But this was in January of 2011. That's when this poll was done. January of 2011. The poll was conducted between January 7th and January 9th, 2011. 67% of the respondents in the Gallup poll said that it's a buyer's market. It's a good time to buy a house. That is down. But it is down from the last 2 years, but way up from some previous years, right? It's way up from some previous years. So you're going to have to be able to, do you understand? People are going to ask you, is this a good time to buy a home? Right? They're going to say, how's the market? Right? You ought to have, do you understand, the more thinking you do before they ask you, the less thinking you have to do when they ask you. right? So I would prepare. I would practice. Do you know any? Are there any people that are around you that you don't like, right? You can get a practice on them. Say, I want to, so do you understand? Is this a good time? Is it? Why is everybody pointing at Sander? Is this a good time to buy a house? Right? You should have a answer to that, even if the answer is no. But are interest rates low? Historically so. Are they going to go up next year or down? Who knows? Could they go down? I guess so. Right? I guess so. It's not what happened recently. Could they go up? What if they do? What if it goes up a couple of ticks? What does that mean to a monthly payment? What does that mean to the total cost of buying a home? Could prices go down? They could, right? Could they go up? And what's generally happened in past cycles is that by the time the market figures out that prices are rising and interest rates are going up, by the time the herd turns and starts going the other direction, right, they've already hit the cliff, right? You understand? Because by now, the home is going to cost them $30,000-$50,000 more. 30 to 50. If it goes up just a few ticks in price, and interest rate goes up 30, 50,000 more, take the increase in the interest times each month times the average number of years, thousands and thousands more to buy the same house, right? But you need to have an answer to this question. Is now a good time to buy this house? And you're going to hear me talking about Google Alerts again and later, but I have a Google Alert, which means it comes into my RSS feed, which is something we're going to talk about for content generation for Facebook. And one of them is now a good time to buy a house. I actually have Google searching all the time, 24 hours, for videos, articles, blog posts, newspaper articles, everything that's related to the phrase is now a good time to buy a house, right? And so I collect that every day when I go into my Google Reader. I have one, is now a good time to sell a house. Everything that's being written about why it is now is a good time to sell a house ends up in my Google Reader, right? It takes minutes. For those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, if I go to Google Alerts, right, this is my iGoogle because I've set it up so that it has that, and I type in is now a good time to sell a home, and I go down here and I say I want this to be a feed, and I hit create alert. What's going to happen, these are the ones that I've already created, and so what happens is that when I go to my reader, and I cleaned it out this morning, but it's going to look ugly. Only 40 so far this morning, but it has, you can see article after article after article about what's going on in the market. I have alerts set up for San Jose real estate, Silicon Valley real estate, San Jose real estate market. And so without having to do anything except log in, I get this information. So you understand you need to know what's going on in order to be able to intelligently talk to people. Right? If you can answer there is now a good time to buy a house question intelligently, they might want to talk to you more. If you say, oh, sure, every time's a good time to buy a house. They're like, thanks a lot. Yeah. So, and we are not. All right. So, where would you meet people that want to buy a house? How about open houses? Has anybody done open houses recently? Have they been busy?
I had like 26.
That's what I'm hearing. I hear lots of people are. Do you think all of our listings are held open every weekend? Maybe not. How would you find who might have listings that aren't being held open? This is the strokey beard. How do you find them? Could you search the MLS for company listings? You could. Could you, Century 21 Alpha listings, right? Can you set up Matrix or Pro MLS if you're Neanderthal, right? That's the primitive system. Can you set up an email alert to yourself that lets you know whenever we have a listing? Could you? Would it tell you the name of the listing agent? Could you call the listing agent and say, hey, congratulations? Right? Do you need help with open houses? As a listing agent, I didn't like to do open houses. I held lots of open houses, but I didn't do lots of open houses. Right? You're saying my seller wanted an open house. I didn't want to do it. Right? That's why you're a listing agent, right? So you can go away for the weekend, right? And come back on Monday and have faxed offers waiting for you. Isn't that what? That's why you're a listing agent, right? So you could find out who's got listings and ask them if they want an open house. Human Resources Department employers, buyers websites, buyer-oriented reports. One of the things that you can get. There are some of these, and I'm going to package some of them together because